Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Oldham County Fiscal Court. I'm Judge Executive David Vogel. We're happy to have you here today on November 6, 2018 for our meeting. We don't expect this meeting to be too long, but we do have business to take care of, even though it's election day across the country, including Oldham County. I'd like to ask everyone who's able to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you have a cell phone with you, please turn it to off or vibrate. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Magistrate Likens.
Here.
Magistrate Tice.
Here.
Magistrate Leslie.
Here.
Magistrate Greenwell.
Here.
Magistrate Hounds.
Here.
Magistrate Eldridge.
Here.
Magistrate Dye.
Here.
Magistrate Logsdon. Judge Vogel.
Here. Having all members of the Fiscal Court present, this meeting is now in session. Is there a motion to accept the agenda?
So moved.
Are there any corrections? I believe that we want to remove under contract agreements and resolutions, item F for the property transfer. We're still waiting for a map from the company to be provided to us, so that we can't go forward with that. Anything else? Hearing nothing, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Now I'll ask our clerk, Cheryl LaFair, to please read the minutes. We have actually 2 minutes to read meetings from. We had a meeting on October 16th, and then we had a special meeting on October 23rd.
October 16th, 2018. The Oldham County Fiscal Court convened at a regular meeting at 2 p.m. with Judge Executive David Vogel, County Attorney John Carter, and the following magistrates in attendance: Brent Likens, Wayne Tice, Steve Greenwell, Chris Hounds, Kevin Eldridge, Bob Dye, and Michael Logsdon. Magistrate Leslie was absent at time of roll call. He entered the meeting at 2:09 as noted in the minutes. Motion made by Magistrate Dye, seconded by Magistrate Hounds to approve the agenda adding amendment to Health Services Agreement for the Detention Center and Study Review Committee discussion on distillery and barrel warehouses. Motion carried unanimously. Magistrate Leslie entered the meeting at 2:09. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds, seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to approve the minutes of October 2nd. Motion carried unanimously. Public comment. Rebecca Zocklin announced the county's annual Household Hazardous Waste Collection event is Saturday, October 20th from 9 to 3 at Oldham County Fairgrounds. For details on accepted items, call Oldham County Recycling 565-1007 or visit the website. Brenda Dimmick, Kentucky Education and Workforce Development Cabinet, presented information relating to its apprenticeship program with registered businesses, provided contact information for prospective employees and businesses. Larry Kaiser, 3000 Maple Leaf Drive, LaGrange, provided an update to his suggested idea of utilizing sponsorships on the I-71 signs, similar to other Adopt a Road programs, and requested it be considered. Statement of qualifications, openings for Eden Parkway Extension. The following statement of qualifications for the Eden Parkway Extension were open and read aloud for the record. Bacon Farmer Workman Engineering, BTM Engineering, Burgesson Nipel, DLZ Kentucky, QK4, GRW Engineers, HMB Professional Engineers, Mendel Scott, and Palmer Engineering. Bid opening for the interstate warning signs. The following sealed bids for interstate warning signs were open and read aloud for the record. ERS OCI Wireless, $88,762. George B. Stone, $48,000. And TAPCO, $208,960. Bid opening for the tandem dump truck. The following sealed bids for tandem dump truck were open and read aloud for the record. Kentucky Truck Sales, $109,796. Ewell Truck Sales, $115,864.21. Wayne Supply Number 1, $159,963 for in-stock. And Wayne Supply 2, $121,152 for order chases only. County Administration, Budget and Fund Transfers. Motion made by Magistrate Tice, seconded by Magistrate Dye to approve the budget line item transfers and fund transfers as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Logsdon, seconded by Magistrate Hounds to approve the payables. Motion carried 8-1. Magistrate Greenwell voted no. Community business, public hearing for the proposed road closing, a portion of Moser Farm Road described as the road stub. Judge Vogel introduced for public hearing the application requesting the discontinuance of the Moser Farm Road stub as a county road. The recorded right-of-way of Moser Farm Road stub is 60 feet wide and approximately 450 feet long, and starting east of Mountain Ash Lane and west of John Moser Way, and ending at the dead end of the stub. County Engineer Scott Harris and committee member Don Schmidt provided testimony regarding the request to close the road stub as described and announced the committee's findings that no inconvenience would result from the closing of the road stub. David Such, no address provided, and Tim Miller of Moser Farm Road were sworn in and provided testimony in support of the proposed road stub closing. No one spoke in opposition. The public hearing was closed. Motion made by Magistrate Dye, seconded by Magistrate Hounds to discontinue the road stub of Moser Farm Road as a county road, as described. Discussion followed. Motion carried unanimously. Contract agreements and resolutions. KYTC Supplemental Agreement Number 3 for the 1793 Sidewalk Project. Motion made by Magistrate Likens, seconded by Magistrate Leslie to authorize the Judge Executive to sign the Supplemental Agreement Number 3 with KYTC and Resolution Number 0110-1618 relating to the Kentucky 1793 Sidewalk Project. Motion carried unanimously. Amendment to Health Services Agreement for the Detention Center. Motion made by Magistrate Dye, seconded by Magistrate Eldridge to authorize the Judge Executive to sign the amendment to the Inmate Health Services Agreement with Southern Health Partners relating to health services at the Detention Center. Motion carried unanimously. Committee reports and recommendations. The Study Review Committee. Jim Urban and Amy Alvey introduced a topic being discussed at the Study Review Committee meetings regarding the review process of distilleries and barrel warehouses. Discussion followed. Fiscal Court members were encouraged to attend the SRC meetings and provide input. Human Resource Committee dispatched job descriptions. Motion made by Magistrate Logsdon, seconded by Magistrate Hounds to approve the following job descriptions for Central Dispatch: Telecommunicator 1, Telecommunicator 2, and Telecommunicator Shift Supervisor. Motion carried unanimously. Personnel actions. Police. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell, seconded by Magistrate Dye to hire Officer Nicholas Smith as 5-year lateral at $24.50 base hourly rate effective October 17th. Motion carried unanimously. Dispatch. Motion made by Magistrate Hound, seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to hire Shelby Grant, Whitney Lyle, and Justin Powell as part-time telecommunicator 2 at $25 an hour on a part-time temporary basis effective November 1st. Motion carried unanimously. Engineer's Office. Motion made by Magistrate Eldridge, seconded by Magistrate Hounds to accept the resignation of Jen Sheen effective October 18th. Motion carried unanimously. Board appointments. Motion made by Magistrate Lincoln, seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to appoint Mike Riley to the Oldham County Board of Adjustments to fulfill the unexpired term of Todd Frierson with a term to expire January 1st, 2019. Motion carried unanimously. Public comment. Jerry Naut announced the annual CASA Superhero Run October 20th at St. Aloysius Church in Pee Wee Valley. It's a 5K run walk to benefit court-appointed special advocates in Oldham, Henry, and Trimble counties. Announcements. Magistrate Leslie shared sentiments about serving on Fiscal Court for the last 16 years. He thanked current Fiscal Court members and wished them his best on Election Day. Magistrate Eldridge commented on a social media post by a candidate for Oldham County Magistrate. Magistrate Logsdon announced movie night at Pee Wee Valley Park Friday, October 19th, with activities starting at 6:45. Judge Vogel commended all of the Oldham County emergency personnel and volunteers for their professionalism and hard work during the Ironman October 14th. Motion made by Magistrate Dye, seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to adjourn the meeting. Motion carried unanimously, and the meeting adjourned at 3:43 p.m.
You heard the reading of our minutes from October 16th. Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Now I'd like to ask you to read the minutes from October 23rd.
October 23, 2018. The Oldham County Fiscal Court convened at a special meeting at 12 p.m. with Judge Executive David Vogel, County Attorney John Carter, and the following magistrates in attendance: Brent Likens, Wayne Tice, Steve Greenwell, Chris Hounds, Kevin Eldridge, Bob Dye, and Michael Logsdon. Magistrate Leslie was absent. Motion made by Magistrate Dye, seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to approve the agenda. Motion carried unanimously. Executive session pursuant to KRS 61.810C, proposed or pending litigation. Motion made by Magistrate Logsdon, seconded by Magistrate Hounds to enter into executive session pursuant to KRS 61.810C for discussion of proposed or pending litigation against or on behalf of the public agency. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Dye, seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to end the closed session and return to the regular meeting. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Eldridge, seconded by Magistrate Helms, to authorize the Judge Executive to sign an agreement to resolve the lawsuit referred to as Civil Case 17 CI 00283. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Dye, seconded by Magistrate Logsdon, to adjourn the meeting. Motion carried unanimously. The meeting was adjourned at 12:33 p.m.
Okay, you've heard the reading of our minutes from October 23rd.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Time now for public comment. That's the time during the initial part of our meeting when we allow anyone who would like to address the court to come forward and do so. We allow everyone up to 4 minutes. Speaker. Thank you. Time now for public comment. That's the time during our meeting when we allow others to address the fiscal court. If you're not on the agenda already for something, but would like to bring up an item to address the fiscal court about, you're able to do so now. We ask if there is someone, please come forward. We ask you to please state your name and address.
My name is Hunter Strickler. I live at 1220 Cherokee Road, actually Jefferson County.
Okay?
I have some packets for everybody.
All right. I'll take them here from you. Thank you.
I'm going to read from a prepared document, just best usage of my time. There's a copy for everybody in the folder that I passed out. Judge Vogel and magistrates, my name's Hunter Strickler, and I'm here representing Louisville Paving and Construction as Vice President and leader of our new Oldham County operations. I'm representing multiple construction divisions and over 450 team members company-wide. I'm here representing a $1.5 million plus investment in our new asphalt plant in Oldham County, which was previously OVA, located in Rogers Group's Oldham County Stone in Brownsboro that went into operation this year. I grew up in Oldham County and spent the first 17 years of my life as a resident of Oldham County, and we still have a family farm in Oldham County, which I visit frequently. I'm motivated to speak today because of what transpired during the awarding of the Oldham County fall paving packages on August 7th at the Fiscal Court meeting. I was in attendance up to the point that Louisville Paving and Construction was announced as the low bidder for packages 1 and 2, and was then thanked for attending by the judge and dismissed as the rest of the meeting continued without contractor representation. It wasn't until October 2nd when we contacted Oldham County Inspector Mark Husband to schedule our pre-construction walkthrough with him that he notified us that we were not awarded the 2 packages and that they had been awarded to the next lowest bidder. I was understandably dumbfounded, and up to that point, we had 0 contact from Scott Harris or anybody in Oldham County making us aware of the decision to not award us the 2 paving packages as the low bidder. Trying to reconcile what took place, I've now watched the YouTube video countless times, and more than I'd like to admit. That video is the first indication I've ever received that our work in Oldham County has not been satisfactory, and to that extent I was shocked and disappointed. I'd like to take this opportunity to solidify our commitment to excellence in construction and our absolute commitment to Oldham County moving forward. In 2018, for Oldham County paving packages, Louisville Paving and Construction was low bidder on 5 of the 6 packages let. On the 3 spring packages, Louisville Paving and Construction was combined $103,002.28 lower than the next responsive bidder. The specified completion date for those packages was June 23rd, 2018, and Louisville Paving and Construction finished all paving by May 18th, 2018. There were no paving items on the punch list for the job, and the only item was a $3,500 culvert at Jericho Road that we identified a fiber optic cable running through when we hand dug to remove and replace the culvert. We worked directly with a state inspector to resolve the issue and reinstall the culvert without disturbing the fiber optic line. The county engineer's office chose to hold $36,000 for that item, but it wasn't a neglected repair. The job was completed a month ahead of schedule with 0 paving issues and saved the taxpayers $103,002.28. It was clear from the debate on August 7th that the Oldham County jail job was behind the decision to not award the fall packages. I have to acknowledge that I've had to play a little bit of catch up to understand what transpired on that job, but I've tried to reconcile the facts. The job was scheduled for 3 years, and the nature of the site contract is that the site contractor is usually the first one on the job and usually one of the last ones off. I also understand that there were issues with the building contractor that continually extended the schedule for that job. From examining email records and contract documents, it's clear that breakdowns in communication were rampant on both sides throughout the project. And as an organization, we certainly accept responsibility on our end, and we expect better communication and conflict resolution from our leaders. In resolving the punch list items this summer, our project manager received the punch list July 5th while our office was closed for 4th of July holiday. Our project manager responded the following Monday, July 9th, his first day back in the office. He then sent a follow-up email August 8th because he had not heard anything back regarding the punch list items. That's an example of a month of lost time due to a lack of response from the architect, and that also coincides with the August 7th Fiscal Court meeting where the decision on the paving packages was made. I acknowledge there's a topsoil issue where we removed dirt from the site without notifying the owner, and this was a highly contentious issue. I'm of the belief that we reconciled the dirt issue, but that it could have been documented better to satisfy the owner and assure them that they were being made whole again. The job is now complete and we're off the job. I apologize for contractual conflicts, communication issues on the job, but I do not believe we provided Oldham County with shoddy work on this job or any job we've completed. I also think it's worth mentioning that on a $1.1 million job at the jail, we had only 2 change orders amounting to $16,000 or 1.5% of the original contract. We're also $800,000 low on the job to the next bidder. Louisville Paving Construction has made a substantial investment in Oldham County asphalt plant, and every ton produced at this plant will be taxed in Oldham County, and every ton uses material from Rogers Group that is also taxed in Oldham County. We test our material at a nationally certified testing lab that ensures the highest quality material produced and laid in Oldham County. And all of our asphalt mixes are state certified, and these commitments to quality are not true of every asphalt contractor in our area. I'd like to provide a quick snapshot of our recent public paving and construction efforts in Oldham County on the next page. You can see there's over a dozen projects we've done in the last 2 to 3 years, amounting to around $38 million and 192,000 tons that we've built in Oldham County. The reason I'm here today is really to defend and protect a mutually beneficial relationship between Oldham County and Louisville Paving and Construction. Together we can provide the community cost-saving construction that is built to the highest quality standards produced right here in Oldham County. It's a partnership that means jobs in Oldham County, tax revenue in Oldham County, and a relationship built on trust and understanding. Louisville Paving and Construction is an active member of Oldham County Chamber of Commerce, and in partnership with many of our team members residing in Oldham County, we have donated our time and resources to projects and sponsorships of numerous recreational teams and public school athletic project construction. We have also partnered with Oldham County Greenways to construct, with fully donated material, a paved walking path at Peggy Baker Park next spring. In conclusion, I'd like to extend a standing open invitation to the judge and all magistrates to tour our newly renovated Oldham County plant, as well as our headquarters, nationally recognized bluegrass testing facility, and our newly constructed state-of-the-art and safety training facilities. Please feel free to contact me directly. All my information is included in the packets I provided. Contact me anytime. We're committed to delivering Oldham County, as well as all our customers, top quality construction services at the lowest possible cost. We eagerly look forward to our top opportunity to prove ourselves, and in doing so, restoring our good reputation. So thank you for your time, and if you have any questions for me, please.
Does anyone have anything that they'd like to say to respond to this? Magistrate Greenwell.
We enjoy working with Louisville Paving and look forward to doing that in the future.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Right. I think it's fair to say on the paving list that you provided, the projects, you did complete LaGrange Parkway. That was, I think, looked like the biggest project on the list there, and you did a very nice job.
Thank you.
We have had a good relationship with Louisville Paving. We want to continue that relationship. And I don't, want to hang any one particular thing. We had a lot of activities going on, both of us. We had some issues where we thought we were on the short end of the stick. Now, I realize that your firm may not see it that way. We're all different people sitting in here, have different ideas, different perceptions of what goes on. When I was a boy, my father, who cared a lot about myself and my brother, told us, had a little saying. He said, if you couldn't listen, you had to feel. Well, we felt once or twice, and we listened real well from that point on. I think our decision to award the contract to someone else was in part to get your attention in the way that we have it here today. We look forward to working with you in the future. There's nothing wrong with your work. It's excellent work. You do a lot of it everywhere. We've had a couple of rough spots here and there, and it started off at the jail or detention center just by the procedure of removing dirt from property was something that we weren't accustomed to. I understand now in the business that taking fill from one place and using it in another is not, it's a common practice.
Right.
To us, it seemed like quite a bit walked off. Your man, Aaron Johnson, attempted to bring back as much as was taken, but there's no way, truckloads full of dirt can't be measured too easily in our minds. But it's, so we all have our different perspectives on this, but I want to make it perfectly clear that Oldham County Fiscal Court has been very satisfied. We had one little glitch there. We wanted to get your attention. I think we have it, and I know we'll go forward, and we're happy to shake your hand and walk forward as a friend and a partner, and we appreciate the low bids that you have provided and the good service that you've provided in this county. So it's not that, we're down on Louisville paving, but like I say, my dad always said, if you didn't hear us, if we didn't hear him, we had to feel a little bit. Well, we felt. We sent out a little message, and you heard, and we appreciate you being here today.
Well, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you very
Thanks.
much. The next item on the, oops, come on, Tim. I didn't, we're still in public comment here. Okay. Didn't mean to cut you short.
Tim Collenberg, Pee Wee Valley, Kentucky. Here again today about the Oldham County Youth Football League. We finished our season mid-October. Championship games were played at South Oldham High School. In our Pee Wee division, the Patriots out of the LaGrange area won. In our junior division, the Raiders won. They're out of the Goshen area. And then in the senior division, our Dolphins won, and they're out of the Centerfield, Buckner, Crestwood area. So we had a great season. Now we've gotten into our All-Star program. So 2012, we started taking 4 or 5 kids from each team, forming an All-Star team, and playing in a couple of tournaments. We have 8 and under, 9 and under, 10 and under, and 11 and under teams. This weekend, we're all going to Owensboro for a big King of the Hill tournament. Then on the 17th and 18th, we're hosting our second annual Battle at the Lake. We have 18 teams signed up right now to come to Oldham County and play football. In those 2 days, we'll be hosting 32 football games. And I think it's just, it's a great deal. I love the Oldham County Youth Football League. This is my 20th season. And I know you guys and this court has always supported us, and the parks has always supported us, and we just have a lot of fun. And just wanted to come up here and invite you guys to come out to the Battle at the Lake if you got a little time. If you'd like to work a concession stand, let me know. We're going to need a lot of help. But everyone's invited. I'd love for you guys to come down and see what we've done. Like I say, this is my 20th season, and it's changed a lot in those 20 years. And not in any small part without the help and support of you guys in the county. So just want to say thank you and look forward to seeing you guys down there.
All right, thank you, Tim. Thank you for all you do for youth football.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
did we get a date on that?
Pardon?
The date, when is it again?
Tim?
November the 17th and 18th is the Battle at the Lake.
Okay, thank you.
November 17th and 18th.
It's
Okay.
called that because we sit right in front of Prison Lake, if anybody wonders.
Battle at the Lake. All right, is there anyone else who would like to address fiscal court? Seeing no one, I'll close the public comment session here and move on to the first item, or next item on the agenda, and that's a presentation by the Metro United Way Teresa Reno Weber is here today, and Roberta Studeman. So one or both of you, please come forward, and we'll be happy to hear from you.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, magistrates. And we're going to show a quick video before I get started, and I think they're teeing
This
that
is
up right now.
Teresa, right.
Teresa Reno Weber, President and CEO at Metro United Way. Oh, sorry. How do we get the sound? Did you say
There we
it's-
go. Something happened.
We have no sound.
There you go.
All the way up. Should we try it one more time? Nope,
No,
Oops.
there's no sound. Do we know
when we
how to,
tested, we had sound.
did we change something up here? I can't see what's here. I could always act it out for you, but it will not be.
Well,
We could.
I would
all
try.
sitting here in the dark now, and we don't,
Try one more thing, and if it doesn't work, it's okay. We'll
Michael,
send it
you
to you.
want? Can you hit the light over there, please?
Hit something when his microphone came on. I didn't know if that maybe did it.
No, why we went dark all of a sudden here.
That's so strange.
Oh, shoot. So sad.
I know.
They tested it
You're
on.
my witness. We tested.
All right, well, we'll send you all a link to the
We will.
video, so we don't have to waste any of the time on that. Again, Teresa Reno Weber, President and CEO of Metro United Way. Thank you all so much for having me here today, and happy Election Day. Grateful to be here and grateful to all of you for your service. I am the relatively new President and CEO of Metro United Way. I came in 2017, which happened to be our organization's 100th anniversary year, serving 7 counties across this region, including Oldham County, and 3 across the river in southern Indiana as well. And it was a phenomenal year for me to come in as the new CEO. Just a quick bit of my background. It's a little unique, I think, for a nonprofit organization, but I got my career started serving as an officer in the United States Coast Guard. So I did 10 years in the Coast Guard all over our country, mostly on the shores. So Kentucky's a little bit of a new place for me. But my husband was born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky, and that's how I got myself here about 8 years ago. In addition to being a Coast Guard officer, I spent 4 years as a consultant at McKinsey & Company doing strategic management consultancy, and then 5 years working in Louisville Metro government as the Chief of Performance Improvement and Innovation, working with Mayor Greg Fisher as not only the head of HR and IT, but also overseeing our strategy and performance improvement work. So again, I am grateful to those who serve in government and understand what that takes. I joined Metro United Way to be able to continue to improve lives across the community where I'm raising my family and my children. And I felt that United Way is an organization best positioned to be able to do that in new ways going into the next 100 years of the organization. Many people know of the United Way, and many people unfortunately have a false familiarity with what the organization is based on its 100-year history. And while we are a funder of other nonprofit organizations across our community, including here in Oldham County, that is only one small piece of the work that we do, and it really is a means to an end. So what I want to make sure that I share with all of you today is pushing your thinking on what Metro United Way is and what we do. And the fact is that Metro United Way is not about just funding agencies, but it really is about funding outcomes. And when you think about the types of nonprofits that you invest in, it's not necessarily because you love the organization, but because you love the outcomes and the types of things that it does for individuals and families in your community. And Metro United Way has been working to make sure that every individual, every child, and every family member has the supports that they need to make sure that they can live to their fullest potential. Here in Oldham County, I think you are often impacted by the great resources that you have and the wealth of this community when compared to other counties across the state of Kentucky. But what we know is that there are still individuals in Oldham County that are struggling to be able to live to their full potential. There are still children who go to school not ready. There are still families that go hungry in the evening. And the work that Metro United Way does here in this community is to make sure that we're working to solve that with our partners across nonprofit, but also across government, across the educational school system, and across our for-profit partners. Because we know that no one organization can actually solve those challenges that individuals and families are facing. And unfortunately, about 8.5% of the kids and families in our community right now in Oldham County are living at 100% of the poverty level or below. We know that there are close to 2,000 children under the age of 18 that are food insecure. That's 2,000 children right here in Oldham County. And while children entering kindergarten in this county are at the highest percentage rates, close to 70% of the kids entering kindergarten are ready for success, and that's a phenomenal number, although it's still 30% that are not. In our LaGrange Elementary School, that number is less than 40%. Less than 40% of the kindergartners that start on day one are actually ready to experience success in school. And so when you think about a 5 or 6-year-old that's not ready for kindergarten, that means that they don't have the motor skills to be able to hold a crayon or a pencil. They may not have the social emotional ability to sit next to another child for 5 or 10 minutes at a time, or they may not have the language skills to be able to understand what the teacher is saying to them. We've heard stories from teachers, and you likely have as well, of children who enter school and they may not even know their first name. And that's heartbreaking, and it doesn't set any of us up for success, not as individuals and not as a community. And so Metro United Way is working in partnership to make sure that every child and every family has the resources that they need to be able to succeed. And we do that by being a catalyst for systemic change across our community, not just understanding what are the best nonprofit partners to invest in, but how do we incentivize those nonprofit organizations to work in partnership with one another? Because if you're providing food for individuals that are food insecure in this community, that's a wonderful Band-Aid. It's meeting an immediate need, but it is not helping them to not need to come back to that food pantry or that shelter in the future. So how do we connect those nonprofits with other organizations in the community that can work on providing the financial independence skills, the career building, the skill building to get them into a job that would be able to provide for themselves and their families long term? So connecting the dots between those resources, making sure there's no gaps, making sure there's no duplication in the nonprofits that are working in support of our families and our children is a role that United Way is uniquely positioned to play, and one that we are continuing to lean into going into the next 100 years. And so I am just grateful to be able to have an audience with each of you today to share a bit about what United Way is today. The work that we are doing in Oldham County is in partnership with many different partners here, from the public health department to the school system. We know that we've got some of our wonderful volunteers who live here in Oldham County, who are part of our Oldham County Advisory Board in the room right now. We have helped start things like Camp Literacy Live, Summer of Science, and other programs that make sure that, again, kids and families are really thriving in this community. And we are looking forward to continue to working and investing in Oldham County. Just earlier this spring, we presented Judge Vogel and others with over $250,000 check to reinvest back here in Oldham County, because the dollars that Metro United Way is raising are being invested here in this community. And so I look forward to continue to working in partnership with the Fiscal Court, with each one of you, and with this community to continue to change lives. Welcome any questions that you may have, and we'll make sure we get you this video so you can watch it on your own time.
Right, we apologize for our technical failures here. Our system has been around for almost 20 years, and I have no idea why it will not perform just at the critical moment, but
That is technology.
You said you were IT in Louisville.
That's
so
right. I fully understand. You'd think I'd be able to help you here.
Yeah, all right. Well, we don't know. Okay. Well, each one of the magistrates have been given a packet here, and I think it's worth mentioning, maybe repeating to some extent here. You've supported the Boy Scouts in Oldham County Public Schools, Learning for Life, Oldham County Health Department, the Ages and Stages program, our library, the YMCA, financial literacy, American Red Cross, Tri-County Community Action Agency, Hope Health Clinic, Good News Homes, and Oldham County Community Chest.
Thank you, Judge, yes.
Right. Those are all valuable organizations in our community that are providing assistance to some segment of the community. There's probably little duplication in the sense that each one has a different group of people it's trying to serve and to help advance. So we thank you for that and for any future activity, and encourage people in Oldham County to support United Way.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
Anybody else have anything? Magistrate Greenwell?
Thank you. 7 years ago, I would have laughed at you for suggesting that a student didn't know their own name, but I drive a school bus, and that happened, and they did not know their first name, last name, or where they lived, and they were the last one left on the bus. So imagine that little debacle.
Heartbreaking.
Yes, and so anyway, we got it resolved and got it taken care of, but it was eye-opening to me.
Thank you for sharing that, because I think sometimes people think that that's an exaggeration, and it's not. Thank you.
Magistrate Dye?
Yes, thank you all for coming today. I'm looking at your profile sheet here, and I see in the X, I guess that's the X is here, where it shows that that's basically that's something's gotten worse. Okay.
Yep. Forever. Should to follow along with you.
I'm on the side. Let's start with the economics, the green one up at the top. I'm not going to point out any particular one that's catching my eye, but you got the X's and you got the numbers, like the first one there. The first X is 300, the next was 56 and 53, and it changes on the back. If you know, with your experience in this, what would be the driving force to have, like in one, it says 300 fewer children or 56 more children? When I see mores and less, or fewers and less, or stuff like that,
Right.
what's the driving force behind it? Is that more, and I don't want to answer your question for you, but is that more families that are lower, or the, and the, I don't know how to say this properly,
Yeah, so-
poverty level, or is that the right way to say it? I'm not sure.
That is. So when you're, the first number that you were looking at, and this I will just say is Kids Count data that we are sharing here with you all, that's created in partnership with Kentucky Youth Advocates, which serves our state and provides these types of profiles for different counties. The first one, children in low-income families below 200% of the poverty level. Why there is an X there is because the baseline data, we started at about 16% of the population was there. It's now increased, so it's going in the wrong direction. We want fewer families to be at 200% of the poverty level or less.
Could that be, well, that's just that one point, could that be more families or more children in one family, or more children in more families?
That is a great question, and I don't know the exact answer to that, but we can find out for you.
Well,
It could be
my-
a combination.
Okay, yeah, what I'm looking for is, are we, as people, and I don't know how to say this right, are people getting poorer, or are the people that are in poverty getting poor, or are we getting more
There are more
poor
families or
people?
just more children being
Yeah,
born
are
to
they
poor
getting
families.
themselves poor, I guess is the way to say it. I'm not exactly sure.
And I don't know how they're accounting for that specific number there in terms of the children and whether or not they're counting up additional children born into poor families or if it's more families dropping below that level. I
Right.
would venture a guess that it is more families dropping below that level. But again, we can follow up
Yeah,
and make
well,
sure we get
what
that
I'm just
for you.
curious is if, I'm sure you all do, but you're looking for, there's got to be something that's causing this trend. And what is that, what's the causality behind that? That's what I would be looking for.
Exactly. And we'll be happy to follow up and give you some
Okay,
answers.
all right, I appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the question.
Anyone else? All right, well, thank you very much for being here today. We certainly appreciate it and
Appreciate it.
wish you the best in the future, and thank you for what
Thank
you're
you. We
doing for
appreciate
Oldham
the-
County.
We appreciate the time, Judge. Thank you.
All right, thank you. The next item on our agenda is the county budget transfer list. I'd like to ask our county treasurer to review that with the court. Melissa Horn.
Here.
Okay. I'm here to ask for a budget transfer. Do you want me to keep going or you want me to stop?
Pardon?
Keep going or stop?
Oh, well, go ahead.
Okay, I would like a budget transfer of $950,000 for the infrastructure for our new radio system. We originally had this budgeted in dispatch. This is I'll say, complicated transaction where we have other agencies in the county paying us for their radio equipment. This is also, as you know, a 65-35 year in spending because it's an election year. So when Stan and I sat down to figure out exactly how is this all going to work out correctly, we realized that the $950,000 for the infrastructure should be in general fund. So I'm simply asking you to do that budget transfer for me from dispatch to general fund.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion on the budget transfer? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll do our bills, payables here.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we pay the bills. Are there any questions on anything in here? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries, 8-1. Next item will be the ordinance. This is a second, or just the first reading of the budget amendment, and go ahead with that.
This is the first reading of ordinance KOC 18-220-493. It's to amend our budget for a total of $1,568,567.27. There are two items that are causing the need for this budget amendment. One is the recognition of income we will be getting for the school security officer program, which started in August after our budget was passed. We'll be getting income from the schools for that. We'll be getting some additional police supplement from the CLEP fund. And then we will have corresponding expenses of the officer salaries and gasoline, uniforms, some other expenses. The net effect of this is $84,009.34 that we will need to take from reserves. The second item in this budget amendment, again, relates to the radios that I discussed earlier. And we need to recognize the down payments in the radios that we receive from the other agencies. And also to reflect that we need $93,605 from reserves to cover our expenses for our radios that were not included in the budget last year.
All right. It's first reading of this, so anyone like to discuss it further, Mr. Greenwell?
Just a question on the radios. How many radios is that? Do you know?
No. 600, he says.
Not just for us, just for the counties.
The county was
Yeah.
over 600 radios.
No, he's talking about
Just for the county.
just for county government, not all.
I don't know that number.
Okay.
I don't know the count.
It would be 100. It would be at least 100 between the road department, animal control,
Parks.
parks. Well, parks didn't get any, but police.
Animal control got 6, dispatch got 2, emergency management got 1, the jail got 47, planning and zoning got 1, I believe, for code enforcement.
Yep.
Police got 40 plus whatever they got for their new officers.
9 more.
21 for the road department, 47 for the sheriff.
So I was off by about,
100, is that?
it's about 150.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take this up again in a month.
Second reading is December 4th.
First meeting in December, whenever, right. All right, now we're going to do the second reading of a public hearing on the 50/50 flood grant program assistance. And this, because this is the second reading, anyone who's here who would like to speak in favor or in opposition to this change will be able to do so. First, we'll have a report from staff, and there is Scott Harris, County Engineer.
Good afternoon, all. This is the second reading and public hearing for KOC 18-910-483, which repeals Ordinance 06-360-462 to provide grant assistance for drainage repairs to property for certain homeowners whose property is being damaged by stormwater runoff. As we discussed last time at the first reading, this is the updating of a current ordinance that increases the maximum amount possible of funding toward a drainage problem and gives people more opportunities to use it. Previously, the current ordinance said you must have water in your house. You must prove water is coming into your house. There's a lot of situations where infrastructure is being eroded away and you're getting ready to have water in your house and a whole lot more, but we couldn't help you until that happened. So this opens the door, so to speak, for a little more help and increases the 50% match that the government, county government, you all will match from $3,000 to $7,000.
All right. So this is a improvement, proposed improvement on our 50/50 program.
Yes, sir.
So, all right, this time I'm going to open the floor to public hearing. Is there anyone here who would like to speak in opposition to this change? Seeing no one, we'll close that portion of the public hearing and ask if there's anybody who would like to speak in favor of this proposed change. I'll close that portion of the public hearing as well. There were no public comments for the second reading. I'll go on to the Fiscal Court members. Does the Utilities Commission have a recommendation on this, Magistrate Eldridge?
We would recommend that this be accepted. Scott and I worked quite a bit on this, and it's definitely an improvement, and I think will help the citizens.
We got moved and seconded. Now we'll discuss. Magistrate Likens?
Thank you, Judge. Do we have a budgeted amount or an estimated amount what this is going to, what we have in the budget for this per year?
I can't tell you how much we've spent, but it was just under $97,000 for this year. I know we're working on 2 under the old, and I don't know how far they've gotten.
Right, that money is made available on a first-come, first-served basis and replenished each year, but up to 7,000. Doesn't mean you get 7,000. It means if you have a repair that costs 14,000 or more, we'll split it with you. If it's 18,000, you still get 7.
What is the max, Judge? What do we have in the budget for this?
97,000.
Just about $100,000.
Okay, but do we know how much was used before?
During this year, we are processing 2 requests. Both are $3,000.
Okay.
I don't know how far we've gotten. I know one of them has been completed and one of them being worked on by the contractor, but as to whether the money's come out of the account yet, I don't know.
Thank you.
Thank you. Magistrate Dye.
I have to commend Scott and the committee on this, but I'm still torn between one thing here. There are some people probably in this county, if they don't have, when we had the $3,000 number, that couldn't afford that. What are we going to do for people that just don't have? They need the help, but they don't have any money to put forth. Are we thinking about later on maybe extending this, open this up? I'm not trying to change this law, okay, but some sort of a grant program if they can show, a need. I mean, I think.
Well, that's an item, a question we don't have an answer to right at this point. I mean, we have prohibitions against improving public property, private property, as you know.
Right.
So, don't want to be hard-hearted in any way, but everybody's individual problems, not the community's problem as a whole.
I understand, but I get that, and I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm just trying to say is, some people don't have the, what, back when it was 3,000, they didn't have 1,000 to go with. I mean, there are some, I just don't want to think that this is just for an elitist type thing, but we can't, we need to look at everything and have some of this lack of hard-heartedness as you speak of.
You're absolutely right, Magistrate, and you can't do this job without your heart bleeding for a
Yeah.
lot of what you see and what you hear. We have a lot of different mechanisms to help people. All of them seem to come at different levels. We do what we call infrastructure programs. We have 2 ongoing now that help a majority, a large number of households with flooding problems, and we use the stormwater fee additional monies to fund that. This is another method.
So in other words,
because
this
if
is
you're-
just a tool in the toolbox.
These are just tools in the toolbox. We're always looking for more tools. We just applied, the judge helped us apply for a grant through a funding source that we'd never applied for a grant for before. And we're hoping to get about $600,000 through that to do another large program. So we're always looking for more tools for that toolbox. We're trying to help as many as we can. This one seems to be aimed at people that can help themselves a little more.
That's all I'm making sure that we've got something for everyone on the plate.
We're trying.
That satisfies me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Right, we're trying, and these repair problems are not $400. You get a backhoe and some people out to your house, or to start digging and moving things, and the expense starts to mount quickly. So, we want to be considerate for everyone, but, if you have a house and your roof leaks and you can't afford to get it fixed, is that something the public should pay for? I don't think so. So, there's rough edges that just can't be gotten around, but we'd like to. We have to get help from other places. But this is trying to at least be helpful to as many people as we can who actually incur a bigger expense than $6,000 to fix up their property and stop erosion and drainage issues for their neighbors. So, but I'm we all want to be kind-hearted here. We're not trying to be hard on anybody. All right. So any other discussion on that? Hearing nothing, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. The next item was the property transfer agreement that we took off the agenda. Now we'll go on to committee recommendations, and we have the Utilities Committee, Magistrate Eldridge. Oops, sorry, did I skip on here? I'm sorry, come ahead, Kevin, the interstate warning. We talk about the interstate warning signs here, all right.
Thank you. As Sheila read in the minutes a few minutes ago, we had the bid opening at the last regular court for the interstate warning signs. Even though there were 3 bids submitted, part of the bidding submittal requirements were proposals may include both signs and electronics as one proposal or may be submitted as separate proposals. So even though there were 3 bids submitted, 2 of those bids are one submittal. So to explain that, the TAPCO bid for $208,960 is all inclusive. That includes the signs, the electronics, and everything. The George B. Stone submittal for $48,000 are the signs only. So those are just the blue 5x7 signs. The ERS OIC wireless includes the electronics, the installation of the electronics, and the programming. So if you add the ERS wireless and the George B. Stone bid together, you come up with $136,762. That would be compared to the TAPCO bid of $208,000. So my recommendation to the court would be to award the bid to ERS OIC Wireless and George B. Stone Company for a total of $136,762.
Right, that's our recommendations, or motion to accept.
I make that motion. I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on that? Magistrate Eldridge?
Kevin, have these two companies been consulted? In other words, have they worked together before? They're aware that they're going to be working together to provide this service?
They have not worked together before. They are aware they will be working together, yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Magistrate Greenwell?
Thank you, Judge. I'm going to be voting against this. I still believe that the warning system that we get on our phones takes care of this for the most part. It may not be perfect. If anything, it might be overzealous, but I'd rather know that than to just get on a interstate blind and not know what's going on. So I think that system works quite well. I've actually had emails from people that agree with that. And so anyway, I think that's the system we ought to stick with that we have already.
Well, we're not abandoning that system. We're
Well,
trying to add another level
Roll
of
into a box.
communication.
would that not be redundancy?
No, not everybody has a cell phone, or you have to be on our system, and we found out that when we took the survey, that even though quite a few people are aware of it, about 48%, I believe is number 6 in my head, wasn't it, that
48% of the people who responded to the survey, so yeah, we're,
are on the system. A whole number of people know about the system, but still haven't signed up for it.
So just like we're not responsible for rain going through somebody's roof, why should we be responsible for notifying these people that won't go to the trouble of getting on the system?
Well, I couldn't exactly explain that, other than to say that not everybody is cell phone literate. Not all have the same type of cell phones. Some they don't have them with them. Just a whole host of reasons why someone hasn't signed up for something. If this is a last minute, as you approach the on-ramp, you're given an indication that there is a problem ahead. What was it, last week? There was something out there last week, and I came by LaGrange Dairy Queen.
a deer
here.
had been struck
Huh?
on it. A deer had been struck.
Yeah, we had fatality out there.
It was a
There was
deer, on the one you called about, it was a deer.
Okay, deer. Well, I mean, I literally saw 3 cars coming back up the on-ramp that had turned around and gone down the on-ramp. They got far enough out to see that all of a sudden traffic was delayed ahead, and I mean, they were turning around going the wrong way on the on-ramp and backing on back onto First Street. And so I can't explain why not everybody signed up for the telephone, but this is just a indication at the end that if you want to go out there and there's a problem ahead, expect a delay. If you don't want to go out there, you have to come up with another choice. But so it's not to supplant, not to take the place of Smart 911 by any means. I wish everybody'd sign up for it, but it's like everything else. You can't get 100% participation at any level on anything. And we were surprised, frankly, that we had about 800 people take that survey, and roughly, we'll say half said they were signed up for Smart 111, but a much higher percentage
Heard of it.
heard of it. You know, so.
It boggles my mind that some people will respond to a survey and not sign up for Smart 911.
I know. Well, right, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to ask everybody to raise their hand in here today, right now, who has this, but there might be somebody sitting in here that hasn't done it. Some people are challenged for whatever reason. When you say you have to make 3 steps in a row to do this, they don't get it done. Yes, sir.
Magistrate Greenwell, and I'm not trying to help your cause or hurt your cause, but I asked Jerry Nart to provide the number of new people that have signed up for Smart 911 since October the 1st. Do you want to guess what the number is?
3?
0. And it boggles the mind, I agree, why people won't sign up for it.
So we should coddle them and enable them and let them make us spend $160,000 because of their inability to go along with the system?
I don't know. I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I agree with some of it. But getting the people to sign up for it seems to be an uphill battle that I don't know how we get there from here. I
Well, that
can tell
only
you that.
affects Oldham County residents as well. There's, the interstate obviously travels people who are not from Oldham County, so it gives them notice too that the interstate is closed down. I think we have a duty to them to provide notice to anyone in our county that there's an incident on the interstate.
And it would allow notification of those people that get off the interstate or that are staying at a hotel, getting back on the interstate, give them notification that there is an issue on the interstate.
And that number, I think you said 160, didn't you?
Whatever, yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, it's really 138, was it? How much?
It's 136, but we have a
136.
grant for part of that.
The Samuel Peyton Head Trust gave us 15,000, so now we're down to 121. So I'm only correcting that because you're, you know, $40,000 or $50,000 off there.
understand, and that's my fault.
That's, you know, so that's actually a third of the cost off, you know. But I understand that you feel that, but we did have, as you recall, when we took the survey, I think we had a very high percentage of people say they thought it was a worthwhile thing to try. And I'm not trying to say it's the end-all and be-all. It's just one less thing to, or one more thing to help you not get into a long delay on your way to town. And so it's, you know, there's other things out there besides Smart 11. I've heard of something called Waze. It's not on my phone, but I've heard of that. And there's internet sharp people who sort of lead the way, and the rest of us catch up over time. But I'll say, you know, all I can do is tell you at the last minute, don't go out there if there's a problem out there, and we'll see what happens. I mean, it has an experimental aspect to it, but I think enough people would say they'd like to try it that it's worth doing.
Who will be activating the sign?
It'll be activated, just like our outdoor warning sirens will be activated, so it'll be operated as our dispatch center.
And who activates the Smart 911?
Our emergency man, it'll be a collaboration between emergency management and dispatch, just like our tornado warning sirens or outdoor warning sirens.
So the
are
same
activated.
people are going to make the same determination?
Well, no, our emergency management director sends out the Smart 911. Dispatch sends out the outdoor warning siren. They activate that based on a tornado warning only from the National
We're
Weather
not talking about
Service.
tornadoes, we're talking about road signs.
Understand?
Or they would be activated by dispatch based on information from police.
I'm just trying to draw the correlation between dispatch doing the same thing twice.
Well, they're not. They don't activate the Smart 911. Emergency management activates Smart 911.
But in the same building?
Well, they don't have to be in the building. He
Okay.
can activate it from anywhere.
Okay.
Magistrate Leslie.
I understand the purpose of this, and I understand it's a lot of money, but there's no cure for stupid. I'm going to vote no.
Well, you said it. I didn't. Fine. Anybody else have a comment?
I'm going to vote for it. I think we need a way to make sure, excuse me, it's on. Okay. I think it's another opportunity that we can keep people off the interstate, and a visual right there as you get on the interstate with the flashing lights. I think it gives you an opportunity to do that. And there's a lot of people that don't have the phone ability or contact to be able to do it. I think it's just one more safe thing that we can do. How long do we anticipate this warranty on it, or how long do you think it'll be able to hold up?
It's solar-powered electronics. It's just like our tornado warning or outdoor warning sirens. They'll need maintenance from time to time, but I believe the battery, solar battery, is warranted for 5 years.
The only thing I'm saying is I'm in hope with the technology that we have today, this product will hold up for at least 5 or so years, and that drives down the cost a whole lot per year. So
This is the same exact technology, and the reason I keep referring to it as the outdoor warning sirens, it's the same exact technology. A radio system is at the site, and a radio is on our dispatch consoles, and it's activated through a radio frequency. So it's time-tested, it's a very simplistic way of turning it on and off. We're not trying anything brand new here. It's very well tested, and with the radio frequency, turning it on and off the dispatch console is something we do all the time with outdoor warning sirens.
Well, and I understand the cost to it, and I'd support doing the whole thing. But before we at least turn it down completely, I'd like to at least think about on the southbound, because that's where we have our major accidents.
We have to do it at all the intersections because we have to have signs at both
That's not a
sides.
choice for us. It's
Yeah.
either all or nothing.
It's all or nothing.
Okay, okay, I understand that.
Man should die.
Well, I'm going to vote no. And the reason being is we're going to start construction here next year or so.
We are not going to start
Okay.
construction next year. Don't
I
put
said,
out that thought.
I said a year or so.
Or so is going to be 5 years.
Okay, 5 years. Well, okay. Then we're not going to start any construction. But the thing is, this looks reminiscent to me of the fountain in the Ohio River. I'd rather see $136,000 spent on more police on the interstate for enforcement, because
You've already voted for this. If you recall, the Fiscal Court has already voted for this. We're awarding the contract today.
Okay.
We're not deciding whether or not we're going to do it. You've already voted to do it.
okay, all right, well,
We're
I'll vote
awarding
no.
the contract
Okay.
today. I just can't believe that we're sitting here with the amount of surplus that we have in this county and arguing over this small amount of money when we have thousands of people who are trapped out there on a very frequent basis. We put out a survey, 90% said they wanted it, and now we're arguing about this. We've already voted to have this. We voted.
I did not vote.
Well, okay, that's fine.
I did not
Don't-
vote, so I'm bringing it up again, and
Well, we've already passed the vote. We're voting on the contractor today. I think this is ridiculous. Come on. I wish you could go sit out there for a couple hours sometime and you might have a different opinion. You know,
you think I don't travel that interstate?
not nearly like a lot of people do. Not nearly. Come on, Steve, you know. This is really starting to get unpleasant for no reason at all. Just furious. Right. Any other discussion on this? All right, all in favor of this contractor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Oh,
All right, I think we had a mixed vote. Please call the roll.
Magistrate Likens,
Yes.
Magistrate Tice,
Yes?
Magistrate Leslie,
No.
Magistrate Greenwell,
No.
Magistrate Hounds,
Yes.
Magistrate Eldridge,
yes.
Magistrate Dye,
No.
Magistrate Logsdon, and Judge Vogel.
Yes?
3 noes.
Motion carries 6-3. Next item on the agenda now will be the Crestwood Utilities, and that is Magistrate Eldridge.
Thank you, Judge. The Utilities Committee met this morning and looked at this. Unfortunately, there were only 2 of us there. Magistrate Greenwell, who has virtually no sewer people in his district, and myself, who has only a few. Magistrate Logsdon had other commitments and was not able to make it. So what we have done is we have made a motion to bring it forward to the floor for floor discussion and floor vote.
Second, moved and seconded, all right. You're bringing it forward, all right. What do we have?
There are questions out there in amongst the magistrates and phone calls that we're getting. Item 1, I turned it off. Item 1 was the agreement. There's been a great deal of time put on this agreement. Many thanks to Stan and the other people that did that. We feel like this agreement is good. We feel like the agreement reaches the best of all terms for a sale to MSD if it is signed. The questions out there were, what is the true value of the system? Do we really know what the value of the system is? What would be the debt load for the customers going forward? Currently, we feel like Crestwood customers are under the millions of dollars of debt versus moving again would make it billions of dollars of debt. here in just a few weeks, we're going to have a new court, 2 new members on the court, and we'll have a new council at Crestwood. Since this is a 50-year deal, would it be better to let them decide it long-term rather than the people that are sitting? Another question was, there's no question it's a great deal for Crestwood short-term, but is it a great deal for Crestwood long-term? There was also a question on the price, selling it for what it's owed versus no equity. But the real overarching question was, Crestwood people pay both Crestwood taxes and Oldham County taxes. Pardon me. So is it in reality basically none of the county's business? Is it the business of the Crestwood City Council only? Or should it be interfered with us since we are a party to the agreement? So again, there was only 2 of us in there. It wasn't enough to really get a good unanimous decision coming out of committee. So we've brought it forward, mentioning those items to get that out on the floor for discussion.
All right. It's on the floor. Anybody like to discuss? Magistrate Leslie?
This is kind of an interesting proposal, but I really feel that this issue probably should be tabled. I think we need to take a look at it. I mean, we're being asked to do something that has a significant impact on Crestwood and/or possible future areas that they could be serving with MSD. There's been a lot of issues through the years of Jefferson County trying to get into Oldham County with a variety of different issues, and I don't feel comfortable at all just today us making a decision on this agreement. I really think it needs to be tabled to the future, and I'm asking that it be tabled.
Are you making that as a motion?
That is a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Carter, you want to give us the parliamentary procedure on tabling?
Motion to table takes precedent over all over other motions, all other issues.
All right, so I'm required now to take a vote, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. There is a motion on the floor to table the discussion of this item. Would you ask the clerk to call the roll?
Magistrate Greenwell,
Yes.
Magistrate Eldridge,
Yes.
Magistrate Dye,
Yes.
Magistrate Tice,
Yes.
Magistrate Leslie,
Yes.
Magistrate Likens,
Yes.
Magistrate Hounds,
Yes.
Magistrate Logsdon, and Judge Vogel.
No. Motion carries 8-1. Mayor, you want to speak? Okay. Yes, sure can.
I'm Dennis Dibble, Mayor of Crestwood for another 2 months or so. I just wanted to make the court aware that we've been working on this for a total of almost a year. Legislation was passed in Frankfurt, which I went up and helped get passed, so that sewer facilities and water districts can own facilities outside their jurisdictional boundaries. You had approved a sale back in July. I think it was unanimous. It might have been a split vote, I don't recall. The ILA had to be revised, and now here we are that we don't get support for this. My concern is, how long is it going to be before we come back up and discuss this? I'm willing to get the MSD people out here and let you all sit down with them and answer some of the questions, and I think you're getting misinformation. I heard today that one thing that MSD, the rumor was that they're going to be taken under Public Service Commission. I checked with them. They know nothing about it. I heard there's a question that they can't get their bonding and they don't have the money to complete what has to be done. They have the best bond rating possible. They have the money secured. They have the plans in place to fix the problems they have. And yes, we have been under, we have our debt, but we're under the debt of MSD and have been for the past 20 years since we first started. Their rates reflect what their debt is. Our sewer rates for Crestwood and Jefferson County for 5,000 gallons of water usage per month is $50. If you compare it to Osea, for the same 5,000 gallons, it's $87 a month. Osea's rates are going to continue going up. If you're in the sewer business, you might as well get used to it. The second thing is the capacity fees at MSD are $2,000 per lot less than Osea. If we could sell this asset, which we have no use for, it would save our ratepayers in Crestwood to the tune of $32,000 per month. That's all of the customers grouped together. That $32,000 would stop because the Crestwood surcharge would go off of the bill when MSD buys it. It would also save out of the city budget approximately $16,000 a month that is going for debt retirement. So we've missed August, September, and October, so our citizens have paid $96,000 out of their pocket that they're not going to recoup. And I don't see the concern, and what concerns me is so many times this court or people in this county are afraid of Jefferson County utilities. MSD is a great company. Their sewer rates are comparative, are better than cities of the same size, Indianapolis, Atlanta. Their rates are not as high as what those are. Oldham County's rates are much higher. And it concerns me more than anything that Crestwood residents and the city is expending $500,000 a year towards debt retirement. So my question to you is, I might be going out of office in the end of the year, but I'm not going away. And I've still got 2 months that I'm going to be knocking on the judge's door to see what the next step is. And if you've got those concerns, I'm going to have people out here that you can sit down and address those concerns, and they can answer those questions for you. No one has told me what the problem is. You know, you had that document in time to read it, Stan, and the attorneys at MSD looked at it. You all had Carol Pettit look at it. I got an email Friday. The document is good. I think we're good to go. I come today, and everybody has reservations, but I don't know why. And until you come up, stand up and say, this is wrong, that's wrong, how are we ever going to get this accomplished? Are we going to let this drag on and the city wind up paying the whole $2.2 million off? And not just the city out of the budget, but the ratepayers. That's my biggest concern. If you, per person, somebody asked me how much per person, a minimum of $10 a month, which that's not a lot of money, but for some people it is. And I don't have a clue how much Oldham County schools, and you've got, what, 5 or 6 schools in the Crestwood area on our system. If they use 100,000 gallons a month per school, and I would guess that it would be that, if not more, they're looking at $117 a month expense. So if there's 5 schools, you're over $500 a month, times 12, you're looking at $7,000 a year if they just use 100,000 gallons. So I need for someone to tell me what the next move is going to be and where we go with this and what your concerns are. And I will have the people here to answer those questions. I'm hearing too much stuff. People get off of the internet. Well, I saw where MSD's got this problem and they've got that problem. Financially, they are sound. And we've been working with them for 20 years. And it took me 5 years to get across that bureaucratic county line to enable us to be able to have them come out and operate and maintain it. And that's the reason I did it, is so we wouldn't have to fool with a package treatment plant. The Division of Water said take 14 treatment plants offline and we'll loan you the money to do this system. It's a total investment of, the original investment was $12 million. Over half of that was paid by assessment. The cheapest assessment per household, it was based on lot size, was $4,200 to $4,400. Some paid in excess of $30,000 for their property. That was for the privilege of getting to hook onto the sewers. Then you had to pay the plumber to hook it on from your property to the sewer. So I don't know. Somebody needs to tell me what direction we're going.
Are you willing to, okay, I'm, even though I voted to keep the discussion going.
Yeah.
What I think is the main issue out there, are you willing to get an outside engineering firm to give you a evaluation on the system that, I think there are people that think that the system, instead of MSD buying it for $2 million, it might be worth $4 or $5 million. And, you know, I agreed today, it's your system to do with as you please. It's a City of Crestwood system. But it is, it may, you know, if there was a number that was attached to what an outside independent evaluator would say, this is what this system is worth. And then if you want to sell it for 2 and somebody says it's worth 4, then that's another discussion. But I think that's part of the crux of the problem.
I would say, yes, we'll do that, and I would hope to have that within 2 weeks' time, if not less. That's what I'm looking at. The other thing the court members need to be aware of is MSD has contributed in the neighborhood of $3 million towards our system through giving us capacity fees, through helping with the expansion of the pump station and force main. They've been a great company to work with. If they wouldn't have put that money in there, we'd be $5 million in debt, because that money went towards the debt retirement. So that's where I stand with it.
Magistrate Greenwell.
Thank you, Judge. Dennis, what did you say that it cost to put the system in?
The original was $12 million.
If you have a home that you have kept up and it looks nice and is 20 years old, wouldn't it be worth far more than what you put into it at the beginning?
It may or may not. You have to look at it, that MSD, if I had the home and you helped me, you mowed my grass, you fixed my roof, you cleaned my gutters, you did repairs, and we worked together, and I said, well, I want to sell that to you, and I'll sell it to you for less than what I paid for it, because you've saved me a lot of money over the years. That's the way I look at it. And it's a partnership that has worked. I don't know, and that's what I told the Senate committee when I testified before them. Crestwood could be the poster child for improvements to water districts and sewer districts throughout the state of Kentucky by the fact that we did it Back in 96 is when we signed that agreement with them to operate and maintain our system. Did I have any worries, or did the city commission have any worries about the sewer system? If the lines broke or it backed up, nope, call MSD. All we had to do was pay the system off. And we don't have, it's not an asset that does anything for us.
I was just, what I was getting to, and I know you can figure it out, what is the value of the system, is what I would like to know.
I would agree with that. I'll get you that, I'll try to get you that information. But again, in my opinion, it's Crestwood's system. We own it. The county hasn't put anything into it, one penny. All they did was sign the ILA in 96 saying that we could go ahead and proceed with the project to let MSD operate and maintain it. If we wouldn't have had that, if we wouldn't have put this project together, Crestwood wouldn't have sewers today. I firmly believe that, because Oldham County Sewer District didn't have any facilities. They still don't have facilities, except for the new plant that they built, and I won't get into reasoning on that. But we put it in without a treatment plant and have no headaches, no worries, and we've been under that debt load that MSD has since 1996.
Anyone else? I'm not sure, we just have to come back off the table, but maybe it can be at the next meeting if the information's available.
I will do my best to get it. I'll be on the phone.
All right.
Obviously, I have been,
I mean, as we understand it, Crestwood, even though you have calculated the per month debt incursion, you're actually guaranteed a price, a specific price that MSD is going to pay you for so you're not losing anything by, they're going to pay you next month or the following month sometime, they're going to pay you this amount of money. So
correct, but the citizens will not be, they're going to continue paying. They don't
the
get,
$10 surcharge.
they don't get
Right.
$32,000 per month.
Right. Well, that's cumulative. That's everybody.
That's everybody. That's 6,000 people paying $32,000 a month.
Right.
So that's my point. I appreciate your time, and I will be getting back with you ASAP. So,
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
thank you.
Next item on the agenda is from the Human Resources Committee, Magistrate Logston.
Could you come forward and go over the Human Resources Committee met, and we're going to go over the benefit renewal program for 2019.
Right, before you is the benefit renewal for next year. To summarize, we initially came back, our renewal for medical was a little over 13%, but based on our wellness participation, we have got some points off, so now it's at 6.3%. So that is the increase for the medical. Overall, the dental went down in premiums 4.45%, and then the vision stayed the same. So the recommendation on that is to go ahead and keep the employee contributions the same as they were last year, as far as wellness participation and the deductions that the employees put in for their coverages. We are now going with some different vendors for our voluntary products and for our life insurance. For short-term and long-term disability, voluntary life, and basic life, the coverage is going to be offered by One America, and we're asking to increase the benefit to $30,000 from $20,000. And that would increase the overall premium on that plan to $3,600, or it's $3,600 more for that additional $10,000 worth of coverage. The Colonial Life will now be handling all of the accident, critical illness, and cancer coverages. So, and as I said, the HRA and the HSA will all stay the same. So we're looking for a motion to,
Second.
Sorry.
Pardon? Somebody second that?
Second.
All right. Moved and seconded that we remain with Humana, except the 6.3% rate increase, which was mitigated substantially by our participation in their wellness program, and that we change vendors here on the voluntary participation programs, and our employee coverage go from 20 to 30,000 on life insurance. Measure die.
Yeah, I'd make sure that, I'm sure, I don't know if you're going to say it or not, but this increase is being covered by the county, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure everybody understands this. They're not going to see a difference in their net check.
No,
Yeah,
no.
okay. All right, okay, thank you.
We do have, let's say, a plan to try to encourage those county employees who are not participants in the wellness program to get with the program, so to speak. And we have some that are not, but those who are involved are doing a good job with it. So,
Maybe you should check with those judges, see if they're on the 911 while you're doing that.
anybody else have any comments on this? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Now we have some
Oh, we're not finished.
dispatch step rate program to talk about. And Tina, are you going to do that?
Sure. The, as you all know, we've had some difficulty keeping dispatchers, recruiting dispatchers. So we've looked at a couple of things in the department. The first thing was we implemented a schedule that we think that the dispatchers will like. Actually, they do like. So that's one item. We're just down 4 dispatchers right now. So and we did hire some part-timers to help us through this transition period. But in looking at the compensation plan, we figured that the dispatchers, they get a lot of training, and they need to be, we were hoping to get a step plan implemented for the amount of training. Their rate will reflect the years of training that they have had to hopefully retain the ones that we do have, the dispatchers we do have, the experienced dispatchers, and to recruit experienced dispatchers as well. So before you is a step plan that increases their pay based on the years of service. After the 5 years that are illustrated here, they would just get the county increase that's offered each year. It's similar to the police step plan that we have.
Oops. Ghost in here.
Yes.
Oops, it's
Oh, wow.
getting worse.
Come on, Michael.
All I can do is hit buttons, guys.
Hey, look, this is on again.
Judge, I'd like to make that motion. We accept this dispatch step plan, please.
Second.
All right, this has been reviewed by the Human Resources Committee and approved, and it is true, we're having a challenging time getting enough people to stay in the dispatch program. Some have retired, left for other reasons, and it's been tough. We've hired some additional part-time people. They're all skilled people who've come in with the ability to do the job. They're not just people. You can't just pick people up for this job. They have to know how to do it. So, Magistrate Leslie.
Yes, Tina, I know we've lost people to other agencies, so how does this compare to other agencies where we're looking for retention?
Well, we're no longer the lowest paying, but we're not the highest paying either. So we're just above the median, like just above medium. We're just below. Like Metro, I believe, is $22 an hour.
22.
That's their starting pay. But they're also a call center. They handle things differently than we do, and they're also way bigger.
How about Shelby, Henry, or Trimble?
Shelby's about the same.
As us?
They're lower than us. We're going to be right up there. We're going to be competitive,
Okay, great.
but not the top paying. So.
Magistrate Eldridge.
Thank you, Judge. This has not gone before the Finance Committee that I know of. Magistrate Tice could certainly correct me on that. The move from telecommunicator 1 to telecommunicator 2 is obvious, and I would applaud that 100%. But there was a great deal of discussion probably 6 or 7 years ago about the fact that if you had two people that had been here for the exact same period of time, and one was an overachiever and the other one was an underachiever, that they would both automatically, because of an anniversary, get a step raise. And again, Magistrate Tice can step here anywhere, but we worked to change that and go to a situation to where department heads could give raises on merit. How is this different than what we worked on there at that time?
Well, as I said, this is going to be the same as police. There are only there are two departments that require a lot of training. And we're just trying to compensate the training that they're getting and keeping them once they get the training and the experience with us. So performance can still be addressed, obviously. We're not handing out, we would hope that someone would get a performance review and actions would be taken on someone that is not performing. A performance improvement plan would come along. I mean, yes, they're going to be bumped up based on the step that they're coming to, but ultimately, if they're not performing, then we would have to follow the lines of performance improvement.
The only actual training that is mentioned is the DOCJT training in Richmond between telecommunicator 1 and telecommunicator 2. But you're saying in those later 5 years where you're proposing a step raise, there's required amount of elected hours a year?
There's training each year, yes.
Mandatory training that they have to take each year.
Thank you.
Right, another difference that even though this is modeled in a way in relation to the police step rate, first year step rate program for 5 years of police, here, if we have a non-performer that cannot be improved, we just take steps to, terminate that individual. Police, we have a merit board there that has to decide whether or not we just can't make a change if someone's not doing their job. So we hope that everyone does their job, and we think that just based on the experience that the telecommunicators in the dispatch program need to be sharp and with it, and we need to be in a competitive position because we just don't need to really be training people for MetroSafe.
And we're not the only county that's having this problem. Everyone's having problems with keeping dispatchers.
Magistrate Hounds.
When we met, Emergency Management Director Jerry Nart and I met with the Dispatch Director and EMA Director for Shelby County. He's experiencing our problems, maybe even a degree higher. And when we talked about what we were planning on doing, his comment was great, in a bad way, in the fact that some of his dispatchers may want to come over and work at our facility. A comment, Magistrate Leslie, about the MetroSafe and others, we likely cannot be competitive with those organizations, but what we do offer at our dispatch center, which I would invite anybody to go visit, is a very nice facility, a nice working environment. One of the supervisors is here in the audience, and they created a video that's out on the Facebook page for Oldham County Fiscal Court, and it talks about why you'd want to come work at our facility. And it's a pretty good video, 3 minutes, Tina, something like that. And it's a good video to watch. But it is a struggle, and unfortunately, the age group of the people that we're, or not unfortunately, but the age group of people that we're attracting, we've got to compensate them to get them to come work. It's not, people don't call dispatch and say, hey, how are you doing today? They call and say, so-and-so's not breathing, or I've been in a car wreck, or my house is on fire. They don't call to wish you happy birthday, and that, it's a tough job. It's a tough job, and it's difficult. Same thing with the police. I mean, who wants to get the ability to be shot at on a regular basis?
I'm going to have to qualify your invitation for anybody to come and visit dispatch.
Okay, you're right.
We do not let people on the dispatch floor that
True.
stop by to see what's going on.
You're correct, yes, yes. got a little overzealous there, Judge. I was more
I
meaning
got-
the magistrates.
I
could-
got your point, yeah.
Yeah, I was more meaning the magistrates could come see the facility. Sorry. Bad choice of words.
All right. Any further discussion on this? All right, program's been,
The step plan and then the increases to bring those to the new pay rate.
individuals in the
Yes.
program now. All right. and,
That would be effective November 12th.
all right. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Okay, anyone
to-
opposed? Pardon?
I need to abstain.
Okay, you abstain?
Yes.
All right. Was there anyone opposed? Okay, I heard aye, but I didn't hear it forcefully. I heard it, so, all right. Motion carries, I guess, 8-1. All right, now we'll have some personnel actions here.
Yes.
First one,
We do have a new hire at dispatch, Dennis Tagatoff. He will be a telecommunicator 2 at $19.19 an hour, effective the 15th of November. He's coming to us as a retired KSP dispatcher. That would be effective, did I say, November 15th. Then we have a resignation, Laura Barclay at dispatch, effective on the 10th.
okay? The magistrate.
Make that motion,
Logson,
Judge.
or-
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay.
The next one is a new hire, Kana Townsend, as a, maintenance assistant 1 at $14.90 an hour, effective tomorrow.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
We have a new hire, Clayton Prather, as a building monitor at Parks and Rec for $7.40 an hour, effective tomorrow.
Make your motion.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
I have one more as
Okay.
a resignation at the road department this morning, Tony Clark, and that would be effective on the 13th. Tony Clark. He accepted another job.
Is there a motion to accept that resignation?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Time now for the second public comment in today's meeting. Is there anyone that's come in who wanted to address the fiscal court since the meeting began? Seeing no one, I'll close public comment, and we're about to wind up our business here. And for today, Magistrate Tice.
Yeah, let me ask one question, and I just don't totally understand and get it clear. Where we were with Mayor Dibble, at this point, we tabled the conversation. What is the procedure? When does that come back? And can we talk about that in closed session, or is this even eligible for closed session at any time before it coming back off the table?
Mr. Carter?
I don't know of how you could do it in closed session. I don't think it falls under one of the exceptions that allows a closed session.
All right, we'd have to take it back off the table and then go into closed session possibly, if that were the case. But it won't come off the table until somebody brings it up. But he's coming back in 2 weeks or sooner, or maybe the first meeting in December, if he can't get his evaluation together by then. So I think that's where it is, don't you? I think there were questions about it that people would like answered. As I said, I'm not exactly in favor of them doing it, but it is property of the city of Crestwood. And I'm personally not sure that we should stop Crestwood officials from doing what they choose to do.
Yes. Okay.
I wish they would have a different point of view about it, but it's a good faith attitude on their part, based on 20 years' experience with MSD. And there may be something that could turn them around, but other than the valuation, but as he said, they already think it's worth, MSD has paid more through services over 20 years than they're
But
paying
you're-
outright for the capacity.
But you're elaborating a little farther than you need to be
Yeah,
at this
I
point.
know,
Am I correct with that? So we need to, okay.
I know.
I'm sorry, I didn't even get.
That's okay.
it brought
I mean,
back
it's
up. I apologize.
something that we're all concerned about, so. All right, we'll wind up our meeting here today on Election Day 2018. It's just about 10 to 4. Polls will close in 2 hours, and then we'll see what the community decision is. So, Magistrate Logston, would you have anything you'd like to add today? All right. Magistrate Dye?
Yes, Judge, according to KYTC, Interstate 71, I'll just read this verbatim here. It said, motorists be advised for a full closure this week on I-71 in Jefferson County. A section of the interstate will be closed overnight to allow for the replacement of overhead signs. This is the part you want to listen to. I-71 North will be closed from I-64 east of downtown Louisville to I-264 at the Waterson Expressway. So that's the whole length between downtown and Waterson. So the crews can put up new signage. That's northbound, yes. So you get to work, but you better find a better way to get home at that time of night. The closure will be scheduled from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. That's Wednesday, November the 7th, and on Thursday, November the 8th. Motorists will be detoured on I-64 to I-264 east and then reconnect to I-71.
Okay. Magistrate Eldridge?
Nothing, sir.
Okay, Magistrate Hounds?
Yes, sir. I brought up about the Smart 911 earlier, and just as a sidebar, there's 18,882 calls placed. So they're between severe weather, special events, emergency alerts, and transportation disruptions. That's how many calls were distributed for the month of October, just as a sidebar. Sunday is Veterans Day.
Harry's trying to correct you on that.
Sorry, Mr. Magistrate, that is the number of people that have signed up for all calls.
Oh, the 18,000.
The number of people that have signed up under those categories on that list.
I'm sorry, I misread that. Okay, so 18,000 people signed up for all calls.
Out of 69,000 population.
Okay,
And that would also include individuals such as myself that have 4 avenues of that.
okay. So 5,300 are severe weather alerts, 4,700 special event notifications, asking for those notifications, 5,100 for emergency alerts, and 4,600 for transportation disruptions. Okay, sorry, I misread that. Sunday is Veterans Day. There's several events I know that are planned. If you see a veteran, Veterans Day or any other day, thank them for their service.
Magistrate Greenwell?
Just one thing, as I voted today in my precinct, I was there 3 different times, not to vote unfortunately, but they had steady crowds, and so I appreciate the people coming out to vote and exercising their right.
Magistrate Leslie?
Yes, one thought, and that was, last Sunday was All Saints' Day. And this past year, we did have one of ours pass away. I sat next to her for 4 years. She was a good magistrate, a really good person. I liked her very much, and that was Beverly McCombs. I did visit her on her memorial, and she will be sorely missed. She was a good person for the entire community. That's all I have.
Magistrate Tice?
Nothing, Judge, thank you.
All right, Magistrate Likens?
Nothing, Judge, thank you.
I would like to say that Thursday evening at the Texas Roadhouse Farm facility on Hannah Road, there will be the Oldham County of the Year dinner. I encourage everyone to attend that if you can. It'd be another salute to someone here in Oldham County that's done a great job helping raise our community. So that's Thursday evening, begins at 6 o'clock.
He owns it.
Yeah, he doesn't, he has a farm there. Well, I don't know, what's it called?
Old
You know?
Taylor.
Old Taylor Place? Is it?
No, that's a neighborhood. It's Taylor
Taylor Creek?
Taylor Creek, yes, thank you.
Taylor Creek Farm there, that it belongs to.
It's in the 4th District, Judge, and it's a fine
Yeah,
place.
yeah, it's in your, right. I will ask you if you ever get a free meal at
No,
Texas
no.
Roadhouse, but you shouldn't. You got to
No.
pay for everything, you know, so. All right, that's it for today. Our next meeting will be 2 weeks from today. Is there a motion to adjourn? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.